Howdy folks, Stormin Norman 64 here. I'm giving you an introduction to Medieval 2 Total War. I hope to do a series of tutorials on Medieval 2. I'll be playing the original Medieval 2 as we see here. I'll also be doing the Britannia campaign, and I'll also be doing the modification Third Age Total War Moss massive overhaul sub of the Third Age, which is Lord of the Rings. Okay, when you first start Medieval 2 Total War, this is your menu you get. There are options. I'll quickly go to here, video settings. There's your advanced. Don't have everything on high, you can go to very high, or if you're having problems you can reduce the detail on your units or buildings or textures on the battlefield and things like that. Okay, you got your audio settings, you can change your volumes. For people speaking you'll see noise effects and music and overall volume. Keyboard settings, we'll discuss this one again, but basically this is basically moving the camera around. Game settings. Unit scale. If you for some reason don't have big, or there's your huge, large. This is the number of troops per when you make a unit of men. They can be big units, or huge units, large units, small units. You select that here, okay? Restrict camera means you can't zoom the camera over to the enemy. You can only see what your general can see, sort of thing. I'm not going to... I use mine de-restricted so we can view the enemy, just see what his armor looks like, that sort of thing, okay? Don't forget to apply changes if you make any. And you can view the credits, okay? Single player, that's the guy we're going to be playing. If you have come to Medieval Total War and you played the other Total War series like Rome and Shogun, then you'll be okay skipping this. If you've never played a Total War game, then you must do the tutorial just to learn the controls needed to form units into formations, the different formations they can be in, how the units can walk or run, how they can charge, when to shoot your arrows, when you're in range and things like that. That's all covered in the tutorial. Also the camera movements. It teaches you how to move your camera around, panning, moving, sideways, that sort of thing. If you forget, remember we had the go back, we had the camera movements in our options under keyboard settings. So single player, that's the tutorial. The main thing you play in this game is the grand campaign. However, there are historical battles. Battle of Hastings is actually the tutorial. Here you play as one of the factions and the AI as the other, but here's your scenario, what you have to do. It's funny that the Normans are actually English and not French at the Battle of Hastings. So there you go. And the Saxons are the enemy. Quick battle is, I've got 10 minutes to kill. No way, campaign takes forever. You basically get given an army, no choice from you. The computer gives you an army, it gives you an enemy as well, and away you go. Custom battle, you do that. You set up your army and you also set up the enemy army. And it gives you a chance to fight out, you know, let's say knights versus spearmen or knights versus pikemen, or you can do that rehearsal, see tactics or whatever in custom battle. So let's go to Grand Campaign, because this is where we're really going to have our fun. When you first start you get 5 factions to choose from. Select faction. We have France, England, France, Holy Roman Empire, Spain and Venice. In the middle here you can get a bit of history, what your objectives are. To the right you see your strengths and weaknesses, we'll come back to that. Down here under the map we have the campaign rules. There's two campaigns, long and short, and these are the rules. Below is the advice level, tell me everything I recommend. You can switch this off in the game. If you just get fed up with a guy telling you to how to get your men to let go of battering rams, and you say, I know I've done 5 sieges already, I don't need it, you can switch him off. You can either hit escape and go into your options and disable him that way, or you can just, as he comes out, hit the X so he goes back in. I'll actually probably be playing on hard or very hard, probably very hard most of the time. But you can select it. This is your campaign difficulty, this is your battle difficulty. Basically it makes the enemy soldiers a wee bit harder to kill. I think the AI gives them extra hit points. These last few are important. Manage all cities, I always have that ticked. This means I decide the taxes, I decide what gets built. Total control freak. If you don't have that ticked, then you can only decide if you have a general in the city acting as governor. If there's no general there, then the city defaults to a selection of your pro-economy or pro-military, and it decides what to build. No battle time, I actually have that off. I always disable no battle time limit. I fight the 20 minutes. I think in 20 minutes I can do enough damage to either win or completely get massacred. So CPU, that just actually, for me, makes the game longer, where you, if you like, spy on what you can see the enemy doing. But to me, they're going to move A to B anyway, so if they do it instantly or it takes them 5 seconds, it doesn't matter to me, so I do it instantly, so it speeds the whole thing up. So I have that unticked. And basically, oh, we're going to go through these guys. But basically that's what you're doing in here. So quickly then, England in short rules has to hold 15 regions and eliminate France and Scotland. France in short rules has to hold 20 regions, each one of these little blocks is a region, and eliminate England. The Holy Roman Empire has to hold 20 regions and eliminate Milan, here Northern Italy and green, and Denmark. Yeah. Spain has to hold 15 regions and eliminate the Moors, here in North Africa and southern Spain, and Portugal. Finally, Venice has to hold 15 regions and eliminate the Milan and the Byzantine Empire, here in purple. Just, if you're into crusades, if you like to play this game and like to do crusades, ask the Pope if you can take Jerusalem. Well, basically, play the long campaign then. You have to hold 45 regions if you're England and take Jerusalem. It has to be one of the regions you hold. France is the same. Holy Roman Empire is slightly different. Hold 45 regions. However, here you have to take over and rule Christendom. You have to take out the Vatican and rule Rome. Spain hold 45 regions and include Jerusalem, but also Granada. And Venice, different again, but hold 45 regions, including Constantinople over here. Okay, look. So that will do me for the introduction. I hope I've whetted your appetite to give this game a go, and I look forward to doing tutorials and getting feedback on how to fight effectively your strengths and weaknesses of each faction.